p.m. I booked for my lesson on Beka's Misfortune and Other Short Stories. I'm so sorry. I've really taken a lot of time before I did something to do with the classwork. But it is what it is. Sometimes life lacks balance, right? And that's why we always say that life is not fair. Life lacks a balance and all that. So guys, let's get to deep into Beka's Misfortune. Yeah. And so let's talk literature here. I hope that you're set and you'll be ready. As you come here, you understand that it's a lesson. And therefore, you can simply introduce yourself. I'll recognize you. But I'm focusing on a lesson, more of teaching now here. I've been doing reactions, and forgetting about lessons. And yet there are teachers and students who are requesting that I do something to do with that. So guys, let me dive into that so that they do not feel like I'm ignoring them. You know, it is you audience who are important here than myself. If you're not here, then why would I be here? I wouldn't even have a reason to come to the platform and do anything. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for dedicating your time towards my channel. And you've really helped me grow. Currently, I'm hitting 2,200 subscribers. And I'm hoping that my goal of getting at least 3,000 subscribers at the end of the month will be achieved if this pace will be maintained. May God really bless you. Today was a Sunday. We've left church and we are back to the house. So let's go to the second story of Beka's Misfortune, because I know some people asked me to do so. So if you are not busy, you can actually come around so that I do not feel lonely on this platform. It's quite cold and it's very bad, again, to be lonely on the channel. So guys, welcome, and let's start our discussion. So of course, some people have been asking also for the notes, though I may not show you all the notes, given that I've written and published this book. It becomes one of the expectations by the publisher and also myself that I do not really expose all the notes, so that I do not blame anybody for issues to do with copyright. So try to understand sometimes when I don't share all the notes. I just do share what I'm doing during presentation. And so let's go through the second story of this book. This story that is not even a book. The second story, you understand, it's known as The Storm. The Storm by Crispin Ogola. Running from page 16 to 28, we already discussed the synopsis of the story, and if you forgot, remember that it's a story covering Jangwani Kingdom, and it is a time before El Nino rains, right? So we happen to see that we have floods. Now the author uses the snake that has gone for days without food, unlike in past, when he could settle in the green grass and attack other animals. Now he had to go for a distance before getting a prey, right? So he's scared that hawks are around and they can easily attack. So he sees a shadow and he thinks that there is a hawk around. So he only realizes that it's a flock of birds that are signaling that rains are yet to be. Yeah? He meets Millipede, and as they discuss Jangwani Kingdom, they share their worries about the hot and dry place, after Millipede sharing that he does not fear snakes because he knows they are small and unappetizing. He himself is unappetizing and small, so snakes cannot, swallow him. Now the snake shares that El Ninos will be here, and he calls for a meeting in which all animals attend, and snake warns them that there is a forthcoming El Nino. Some animals doubt that. They doubt it because they are saying it's dark, yes, but then will it rain? And of course, soon we see El Nino coming. It destroys a lot of animal habitation. And save for the hawk that was on a tree, we have some birds and frogs. Yeah. So now let's come to an understanding of the concerns in this story. Elizabeth Munyoki, hello, how are you? Welcome on board. Today I'm doing an analysis of a grade 7 and 8 book known as BEKA'S Misfortune and Other Short Stories. I had a request from students, and some of the teachers wanted that, so I felt like ignoring them would be bad. The audience here are more important. Yeah, so okay, Elizabeth says yes. All right, you are top fan here, number 1. Thank you very much for your love. Yeah, hi. You can give me a like, maybe a thumbs up on that video. I can see more people, about 5. I will also request you to give me a like, please. Just give me a like or a thumbs up as we go into the discussion. So I'll start with the aspects of themes. When they are asking questions to the grade 9, grade 7, grade 8 students, they ask them about themes. Yeah. So when you look at this story, the first theme that comes out is fate or disaster. Why am I saying this? If we look at page 26, for example, we are told that hailstones came down with fury, and hailstones broke the pieces of trees and twigs and left them on the ground. Thank you so much for the like, Elizabeth. Maybe the rest of us who are still on board, I can see about 5 to 6 people. You can also give me a like. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that shows a lot of love for me, and it means a lot. And for those who have not subscribed, also I will urge you to subscribe to the channel, and so that in case I'm putting any video and it is to your like, you will actually have a notification and you can watch. Yeah, thank you so much. You've been really supporting me on live streams and so much, videos, just watching after I posted, and I really appreciate that. You don't know what it means for me. It means a lot. Yeah. So guys, the next illustration for fate is that the rains intensify, and it is so stormy. It becomes so stormy. When you check on page 26, we have strong westward wind and trees branches break. It becomes so much that even animals lose it. Again, the same page 26, we see that we have rills of water that turn into small rivers, and they form gullies, and huge trees crash down. So such is disastrous, right? If you remember, yesterday we had a flood in Texas, and when you look at that, then it tells us that floods are disastrous, right? Now let's get to the raging waters that rush downwards with speed. When we have floods and water is rushing like that, it's so easy to have even human beings killed, animals killed. That's why I consider it a disaster. We also see that when it's raining like that, so many loose plants and field ponds were carried away. We are also informed by the author that excess water had to burst rivers, riverbanks, and crush twigs and branches. Then on page 27, we see that there were lightning flashes and light striking sharply as thunder rose. On page 28, we are told that some animals were caught unawares, and of course you understand what happened. Some might have perished in the process. Now the second theme is survival for the fittest. When you check on page 26, we are informed that the hardwood remained unshaken, whereas soft wood kept breaking. That is page 26. So I'll be turning the camera so that sometimes people request for notes, and I think it's good to do that progressively. So let me turn the camera so that maybe progressively you see what I've discussed. Like I've already discussed that part of fate and disaster, so you can actually see that one. And currently I'm discussing survival of the fittest. Yeah, survival of the fittest, whereby we see that snake survives in the hole that he had dug. Birds also sing sweet melodies Frogs croak and hawks sit looking at everything in the safe haven. Monkeys hang under the thick tree, but most of other animals are swept away, right? So that means that while some animals survived, others had to perish. The third theme here is conflict. Conflict. Now check that on page 23. You realize that frogs feel they need rain, and they do not agree that there is El Nino. The monkey is called a thief in the meeting and failing to know anything to do with weather. On the other hand, monkey says snakes do not have wings and fly, and so they cannot gather information for the rest of the animals from the skies. Because of lies, monkey says that is why God denied wings and legs to snakes, you know? So that's a hot conflict, right? If you're arguing with somebody and they tell you that, Daniel Mutua, welcome on board. Thank you so much for coming handy here. You can give me a like, a thumbs up on the video as we continue with the live stream. Today I'm doing a lesson kind of. So if you really want maybe to follow, it's okay with that. If you have a student in grade 7, 8, it's okay with that. Or if you really just like literary analysis, then you are welcome here. So Daniel Mutua, I'm fine. I hope you're fine too. So I'll be showing again the notes on conflict so that as we go by, we are moving together. Of course, the themes in this story are not many, right? Yeah, so let's turn the camera again for that. And here it is, conflict. Now, the other themes that I can just mention, but I won't actually show you the discussion because I never did it. You may find aspects of betrayal, mistrust, yeah, and we can talk about natural disasters. Yeah, the aspect of floods is a natural disaster, right? Yeah. Now let's go to the stylistic devices and language use. I can see 4 more people on the platform. Thank you so much for coming handy here. You are great people. God bless you. You can actually give me a like. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and share my video. Now, when we go to the stylistic devices, what do we see? The first style that we meet is the style known as dialogue. And of course, dialogue comes when the snake talks to millipede as they try to discuss the long drought on page 20. Between page 22 and 23, we also see a dialogue that involves frog, monkey, snake, and frog as they are raising their concerns over the looming El Nino. We also have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a common style in grade 7 and 8 books. We've seen words on page 24. We have words such as sweep, croaked, crash. On page 26, we have splashed, whistled, rushed, right? Yeah, so we have those kind of styles there. I'll be showing you shortly. Now we also have rhetorical questions in this story. Hawk wonders, what was happening? That is page 26. On page 23, we see, what is that? Do you hear anything? Then there is use of song. So we see the use of song as the crowd, birds sing in airs, and the rest of the animals informing them that there is a hurricane and a strong wind, storm and thunder that is coming. They share about climate change, Clycon, and possibility of El Nino in Jangwani Kingdom. That runs from page 24 to 25. Let me turn the camera to show you the notes before we proceed to the next page. I hope you're seeing that dialogue, onomatopoeia, rhetorical question, and song. Now let's move to the next style, and that is irony. In this story, we have irony. Irony comes when monkey refuses to listen to snake, yeah, and birds confirm that floods are coming, yeah. So the doubt here is unexpected. That is page 26. Frogs call snake murderers too and reject the coming of the heavy rains, only later to be washed away. That's very ironical. They always say that you better become religious only to die and not find heaven than doubt it and go later to find that there is hell waiting for you because you never listened. I don't know whether you understand my analogy. So the next style is direct speech. Direct speech comes on page 23. Both hawk and snake offer a speech to the rest of the animals, proving to them that El Nino is coming, and they need to take necessary precautions. Snake shares about changes in temperature, and later hawk asks crow to share her views. That is on page 23. Crow, the crown bird, not even crow, crown bird confirms that El Nino is coming on page 23, and she does that in direct speech. We also have personification. When you look at page 23, we have about 4 personification cases. Crown bird was an informer and educator. Monkey looks at hawk. Clouds are pregnant. And we are told that the animals were tongue-tied. So let's turn the camera again and see this. I hope you've seen irony and the illustration, direct speech and the illustration, then personification. Now we can move ahead to more illustrations for personification, like gloomy sky on page 27. Birds are said to have sung sweet melodies. We know that birds don't sing, do they? Then leaves whistled and sent warnings to branches, page 26. Then we have hawks watched from a safe haven. Hailstones came down with fury, page 26. Thunder angrily roaring. Yeah, we are also told that in the entire story, many animals behave exactly like human beings, of course, by speaking, fearing for their lives, laughing, arguing. They are even calling for a meeting. Who does that? Have you ever seen animals gathering for a meeting? The last example is animals built homes too. Let's look at these illustrations before we go to some few questions. Now, I always love to give students assignments before we end. Now, I'm giving an excerpt here, so let's read through. But rain water is water, and water is life. Those who are not in support of rains are murderers, Mr. Frog shouted. Hawk noticed that the meeting was almost becoming chaotic. Monkey jumped onto one of the branches of the tall tree that was nearby. He said, "Snake is lying to us. It is unlikely to rain anytime soon. Mr. Snake is just unlucky as he always glides and slithers on the ground. He's the most unlikely animal to know anything about things from the sky. In any case, we know snakes are liars and cannot be trusted." He said. Snake protested. "I am not a liar," Snake protested. "We know the best thing monkeys do is to steal. They know nothing about the weather. Monkeys are thieves. You can never foresee. Did you develop wings that helped you to fly to the stars and to gather that information?" Monkey asked. He was a witty orator, and one who was unlikely to win an argument with him. "It is because of your lies that God gave you neither legs nor wings," he said. "Silence," Hawk shouted. "We have heard enough. Let us not quarrel anymore." She knew that the argument could easily turn into a fight. Yet the information Snake had been valid. She had to steer the meeting in the right direction. "Crown bird, you fly high in the cloud. What do you have to say about this?" she asked. So my questions are, What had Snake said that led to the argument? What had Snake said that led to the argument? Question 2. What style do you think you can find in the passage above? So find at least 2 styles for me. The next question is, what did the crown bird say? Yeah, what the crown bird say? The next question is, compare the character traits of hawk with that of the monkey. Then, what do you think was the major intention of the author in this story? So those are the questions I'll leave you with before we proceed to any other discussion elsewhere. So thank you, Daniel Mutua, Elizabeth Munyoki, and others who came hand in this discussion. Of course, I know Kevin would be here. He always does, because he really requested for these notes, and I decided that I'll be doing this at this hour. However, when I booked, it gave 4 a.m. instead of 4 p.m. I'm very sorry for that. Maybe that's why some people will miss out on this live, but all the same, you'll find the notes on my YouTube channel. Thank you. I was to do something on the Texas floods and the aspect of shooting in America. I don't know. I'll be doing it very soon. And people are really requesting for a nature walk in the place I reside, so I'll be organizing for that once I get time, and in case it's not raining. Otherwise, continue watching my videos, like them, share, especially the videos I post without live stream. I really urge people to continue watching so that you can support me to grow. My target for this month is 3,000 subscribers and enough watch hours to enhance me to receive something from YouTube. Otherwise, may God bless you. Bye bye for now. Thank you.